All right. Good morning. Melissa is going to kick us off.
Good morning, everyone. This is a land acknowledgement. We would like to honor our good friend and colleague, Joe Baker, who's the head of the Lenape Center. And we encourage everybody to learn more about the work that they are doing. And this land acknowledgement states that the land upon which we gather is part of the traditional territory of the Lenape called Lenape King. The Lenape people lived in harmony with one another upon this territory for thousands of years. During the colonial era and early federal period, many were removed west and north, but some also remain strong and continuing historical tribal communities of the region. The Nanticoke Lenape tribal nation, the Ramapo Lenape nation, the Powhatan Lenape nation, the Nanticoke of Millsboro, Delaware, the Lenape of Cheswold, Delaware. We acknowledge the Lenni Lenape as the original people of this land and their continuing relationship with their territory. In our acknowledgement of the continued presence of the Lenape people in their homeland, we affirm the aspiration of the great Lenape chief, Tamahent, and there be harmony between the indigenous peoples of this land and the descendants of the immigrants to this land, as long as the rivers and the creeks flow and the sun and the moon and the stars shine. Thank you.
Thank you, Melissa. Right. I understand there are some people that are getting a message. We are recording and we're going to work to fix that issue as we're speaking this morning. But also know that all of these sessions are being recorded, so we will work to get that fixed up. But for colleagues who are waiting, tell them just hang on a moment if you're in communication with them. Carrie, can we go on to the next slide, please? All right. So a big welcome to all of you that are here with us this morning. I want to thank you for joining the Delaware Department of Education's third annual Multilingual Learner Conference. This year, our theme is From Surviving to Thriving, Transforming Multilingual Learner Education in Delaware. Over the next 2 days, you will have the opportunity to attend sessions ranging from supporting communities to pre-K dual language learners to science of reading for multilingual learners and more. We have over 480 participants who will be joining from across the state, including administrators, pre-service educators, advocates, policymakers, higher ed faculty, and researchers. You will have opportunities to network with colleagues who want to ensure Delaware's multilingual learners thrive. Collaboratively, we all can and will transform multilingual learner education here in Delaware. I want to urge all participants to engage in a focus group tomorrow from 2 to 3 as we also work to develop our next multilingual learner strategic plan, a path forward for Delaware's multilingual learners. Now it is our distinct honor to welcome Dr. Mark Holodick, Delaware Secretary of Education, who will offer some welcoming remarks.
Thanks so much, Maria, and kudos, Maria, to you, Carrie, Melissa, and others at the department who have collaborated with a number of district folks to pull this very impressive third convening together. And I love the topic or title for this year's conference, rather, From Surviving to Thriving, Transforming Multilingual Learner Education in Delaware. To all of our participants today, the department is so excited to bring you this conference, especially in the month of April, which is, of course, celebrated as National Bilingual Multilingual Learner Advocacy Month. Just want to make a couple of what I think are key, rather important points. One is this year, I'm sure you've noticed, the very intentional use of multilingual learners. The Department of Education honors students' language abilities, sees them as an asset, and values the many languages multilingual learners bring to enrich Delaware classrooms. Using the term multilingual learner emphasizes the importance of respecting home language as students are simultaneously learning English in all of our schools here in Delaware. While the term, quote, English learner may continue to be used in federal and state policy, and by many of us who are so accustomed to using it, our department's guidance and resources have already begun to reflect that shift, which I applaud Maria and our team for doing. So a couple of other key points I want to make. One is, many of you are utilizing your opportunity funding for really thoughtful programs and initiatives that are having a positive impact on our multilingual learners. And so for those who might be joining us today, because this is a pretty diverse group, as Maria said in her opening, we have administrators, teachers, we have paras, early childhood. I think we have some legislators, some folks from over in Lake Hall joining us, and some advocates. And of course, we have an awesome panel of experts who are joining us today, providing information about various topics related to multilingual learners and doing the best we can to educate them and support their families. So it's a diverse group, and there are probably plenty of folks in the room who don't know exactly what opportunity funding is. So these are funds that are specifically for multilingual learners and are economically disadvantaged students throughout the state of Delaware. That pot of money had a pretty significant increase in this year's budget. And so I implore all of you, not just district office folks, not just building leaders, but all of you to really look at those resources and think about the way in which we're utilizing them to provide strong and, dare I say, even better outcomes for our multilingual learners. I should mention also, I think an important point is that the Department of Ed is engaged right now in developing a new multilingual learner strategic plan. During today's conference, you're going to have an opportunity in focus groups to share some feedback that we really appreciate. It's important that everyone's voice is heard. And finally, just wrapping my opening up by saying again, I mean, this is impressive, close to 500 people. I guess we have so many people trying to attend today that, we're having technical issues due to it, which I suppose is a good problem to have. And hopefully we're correcting that, or just have, Maria. But it speaks volumes to your commitment to supporting our multilingual learners and their families. And that helps us transform in a very positive way our multilingual education plan here in Delaware. So much appreciation to all of you, and I wish you a great day of learning. Thanks so much, Maria and team.
Thank you, Dr. Holodick. And yes, we are working diligently to fix the tech issues. We might have to make a quick adjustment here, but we appreciate your message and joining us this morning and welcoming all of these great participants. And for those of you who have colleagues that are not yet on, we will have this recorded if you missed that, so you can hear this wonderful message as well. All right. So we are your conference team. We also have some folks behind the scenes who some of you have already met that I will also call out, but I am Maria Rodriguez. I'm the Education Associate for Multilingual Learners here at the Delaware Department of Education. And joining us today, really running all of our sessions, and the team that has worked tirelessly to pull this together. Carrie Knight, the wonderful education specialist for multilingual learners here at the department, and Melissa Lambert, who is a consultant who works with us. And if you have been part of any of our work in the past, you've had the pleasure of meeting Melissa. She is the mastermind behind helping us reach all of the wonderful presenters that you'll be able to hear from today, and making sure that everything's in order for today's conference. We also have Lynn Fulton, our education specialist for dual language immersion, who will be supporting some of the sessions today related to our immersion programs and tomorrow. Behind the scenes, we have Alyssa Moore and Kevin Lamb helping support our tech. And they're there in the help space if you need any help along the lines. Carrie's going to talk to you about a couple of logistics. We may shift in that point, but we will be moving from this session into a webinar in just a few moments as well. So stay tuned. Carrie?
Okay, here we go. So I'm going to walk you through just a couple of things with regard to our Padlet and a little bit about SCED. And then we are going to try to do a little bit of shifting so that we can get into our next session and get some of those tech issues resolved. So just to talk you through a little bit about our platform in Padlet. If you heard our video and some of our promotional things that we have been sending out, you might be a little bit familiar with this, but we wanted to take just a chance to walk you through a little bit of this and explain to you why this is so important to what we're doing over the next 2 days. Our Padlet is where we host everything in reference to our conference. So this is kind of like the place where you're going to find all of the great things that we do over the next 2 days, plus all of the information that we've done over the last 3 conferences. This is our 3rd annual conference. So all of the information from our previous conferences are also housed on this Padlet. So this is like the be all end all of our conferences. So we're going to start in this very first column on the left-hand side. And this is probably where you found information about SCED in the first place, but you can also find the link here to SCED. So starting in the Padlet is probably the best place, because if you click this little picture right here, this will take you directly to SCED. So you don't have to have lots of links going on and lots of things open. You can actually click right here and get directly to SCED from clicking onto this picture. But also there are 3 different columns here that say before, during, and after the conference. So we asked you to do some of the before things, and lots of our colleagues have already started some of those tasks. So we have always in the past done what we call all the things before, during, and after. And we sent out a video asking you to do some things before the conference, like, whoops, sorry, I forgot we weren't live with this. I was trying to navigate the Padlet and I forgot this was a screenshot. We sent out a video asking you to do some before things, meaning go onto Twitter and start tweeting about our conference, or go to Flipgrid and record a flip video, or to start commenting on the Padlet. And lots of you have already done that. So those things we asked you to do before the conference. Now that we're actually in the conference, we're going to ask you to go to that during the conference section, and we're going to ask you to start commenting on the different sessions that you attend. So after you attend our opening keynote, or after you go to one of our sessions and you find something that you really like, or something that you're very passionate about, or something that you heard that was really awesome, we want you to go to that column and to start commenting, or go to Twitter and start tweeting, or go to Flipgrid and start recording, where you can comment and talk about things with your colleagues. Talk about a session, talk about something that you really heard that was profound, or something that you're going to put in place in your school or your classroom or your environment, and talk about the ways that you can help multilingual learners in Delaware. How can you help students thrive in your environment? And then after the session, we'll also ask you to come back after the conference and talk about some of the things that you've learned and some of the things that you're going to be putting in place in your environment. So whether you're in a school, whether you're in a district, whether you're a pre-service educator, or you're out working in the community, we're going to ask how you're going to use the things you learned in this conference to influence your situation. In that Padlet, you'll also find things about certification. So if you're interested in finding out more about multilingual learners and certification, there's also a column for that, as well as lots of information about previous presenters from our last 2 years worth of conferences. So you'll find that all on the right-hand side. All of the information we have presented over the last 2 years is also housed on this Padlet. So this is a one-stop shop for everything that you will possibly need in relation to this conference and our previous 2 years. Everything that we get from presenters this year after their presentations will be housed here. It'll probably take us a few days, but we will get everything up as well. And we will have a column for each one of those presenters. All of their recordings and all of their materials will be housed here as well. So you'll have a one-stop shop for all things related to Multilingual Learner Conference. Okay, our next platform is SCED, which you are very familiar with because that's how you found this session today. I wanted to just point out a couple of quick things. First of all, at the top of today in this 8:30 session, that's how you found today's welcome session in the Zoom link, you'll notice there's a session that says Help Center. And I kind of blew that up here where you see this big green arrow. That is going to be open all day long. So even though it only says 8:30, that is running all day long. If you run into some technical support or technical issues, you need some help or some support, a Zoom link's not working, something's going wrong, like this morning, you can click in there and there is going to be someone there supporting you. We have Kevin and Alyssa behind the scenes running this all day long, so you can click in at any time and get some technical assistance. Just a reminder, if you haven't already selected your sessions, we hope that you have, but if for some reason you haven't, you're going to want to go in and pick your sessions so that you can go into each one of these and pick your link to get into the Zoom. So for example, at 10 a.m., or let's say 10:30, you have 4 different choices for the different sessions you can attend. You're going to want to click into each one of those because each one has a different Zoom link. Those are not going to be available until the time. So you'll click into the session that you're going to, and it will give you the Zoom link to take you out to your session. So when we get ready to break for Juliana's keynote in just a few minutes, you're going to go into that particular session in your schedule, and you're going to go into her Zoom link, and that will take you directly to her session. Okay. Just a reminder, this is the schedule for Tuesday. We're going to be going into our keynote at 9 a.m. We'll have a short break, and then we have sessions all day long. I did want to just remind you at 12 o'clock, we do have lunch, but this is considered a working lunch. So we're hoping you will join us right at 12. Delta is going to be presenting at 12 o'clock as we eat our lunch together. And they are going to share about their organization. This is a wonderful organization that are amazing advocates for multilingual learners in Delaware. So we're hoping you join us for a working lunch at 12 o'clock. Bring your lunch. We'll chat and chew together and enjoy a little presentation with them. Okay. Give me just one second. I want to just run through the chat, just check to make sure we didn't have any burning questions. Awesome. Okay. Last thing, I did mention a little bit about Twitter, but we do want to remind you to use the hashtag multilingualDE and to also go to the Flipgrid. If you haven't already joined Flipgrid, you can do it right from your cell phone. They have an amazing app. It's super easy to use. You can definitely do it with video, but if you don't feel comfortable putting your face on camera, you can also do an audio version. But we're encouraging you after each session to jump on, tell us the title of the session, what you loved about it, and how it can help really support you to help multilingual learners thrive in Delaware. So we're super excited to hear you talk about your sessions, to record Flipgrids, to share your thoughts on Twitter. And all of those are going to give you chances to win door prizes. We've already given away 2 door prizes to Mr. Freeman Williams and Miss Jen Lavalette from Indian River School District and Freeman Williams from Cesar Rodney. So we've already given away 2 door prizes. We're super excited about that. And we're going to continue to give away more door prizes throughout our conference over the next 2 days. Okay. We are getting ready to transition over to our opening keynote. When we head over to, we're going to actually leave this particular session. We're going to head over to Sketch. When we get back into Sketch, you're going to find your opening keynote for Ms. Juliana. And you're going to open up that session and find her Zoom link. You'll click on the Zoom link and you will join her. That is not going to start until 9 a.m. So you are going to have just a couple of minutes